Hello everyone, this is OPS, Olympic Peninsula Spotlight. I'm your host Rick Nichols.
And I'm Matthew Warnick.
We'll be bringing you entertainment from the local area musicians, information concerning local businesses, and we'll also help to keep your calendar up to date with schedules for up-and-coming events. Our program is coming at you from Circle of Sound in Olympia, Washington. This full-service recording studio also offers in-house mastering, CD and DVD duplication, digital transfers, and audio restoration. Circle of Sound, reasonable rates and local convenience.
Today in the studio we have Michael George, not to be confused with George Michael. We're going to have an informative interview and play 3 of his rockin' masterpieces.
I'm falling apart at the seams. It seems to me, well, this isn't healthy, what we're doing here. We're falling apart, but I'm still dreaming that one day this'll work, it'll all be easy, and you'd still love me, yeah, you still love me. I guess I just don't understand where you're coming from, how'd you get there so fast? 'Cause I'm standing, yeah, I'm standing here. Well, once again I've finished last. It's falling apart, but I'm still calling you every night. Maybe that's just me stalling. Well, I'm just stalling. I guess I just don't understand where you're coming from, how'd you get there so fast? 'Cause I'm standing, yeah, I'm standing here. Well, once again I've finished last. You don't understand, I was falling. It scared me so much, well, now I'm running. But trust me, this is for the best. Oh, darling, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, trust me, I know you'll bounce back. You'll bounce back.
Michael's going to show everybody Which Way Is Home with the title song off his EP.
I've been trying to find my way back home, but I just can't find what I'm looking for. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've spent so much time just trying to hide, so far behind these walls I built high. So which way is home? I just don't know where I need to go tonight. Somehow I've lost everything that means so much to me. So God, will you show me which way is? I know I've been lost, but not too far gone. If you open your arms, to you I will run. Yeah, 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 yeah. So which way is home? I just don't know where I need to go tonight. Somehow I've lost everything that means so much to me. So God, will you show me which way is? So will you show me where to go? 'Cause I can't do this on my own. 'Cause I am way too scared that I will all but fall apart. Will you just take my heavy heart and make it light as air? So which way is home? I think I know where I need to go tonight. Somehow I've lost everything that means so much to me. But God, I think I know how to get home.
Let's welcome into the studio Michael George. Michael, how are you doing today?
Doing well, thank you.
Great. And where are you from?
I am from all over. I am an Army brat. My dad, since my birth, I was born in Iowa, and from then we moved all over the place. I've lived in places like Germany, California, Hawaii, and then Washington, and I went to college for a little bit over in near Nashville, played some music over there, and then moved back here. So, yeah, I've been living here for about 2 years now.
Right.
So
Do you like it here?
I do, especially enjoy the cloudy weather. It's nice.
Only people from out of state like the weather
Yep.
in Washington.
Yeah.
So how long have you been making music?
Since 9th grade in high school. My dad actually has a bachelor's in music, and it's kind of just been part of my life, I guess, since my birth again. I grew up listening. My dad's a huge fan of the Beatles and Chuck Berry. I remember being 5 years old, and he'd blast it on the stereo and he'd be dancing around the house with me listening to Johnny B. Good. And I remember when the opening riff would hit, and he'd put up like an air guitar, and we'd both play the air guitar to that opening hit. So yeah, it kind of started there, and then I never was really interested. I was more interested in sports. So I was interested in playing soccer and just really outdoors and doing all that stuff. And then really hitting like 8th, 9th grade, and I wanted to pick up a guitar. So I thought it was cool, and I guess the main reason also girls dug it. So
Yeah, driving factor.
Yeah, exactly. So I picked up a guitar, and my cousins and everybody also played. I was extremely terrible. I'm just above terrible now. But I remember asking 6 months into it, my fingers were still at the point of burning from playing. And I asked everybody, and I was like, when am I going to start getting good? And they were like, well, it's not guaranteed you will. So, but yeah, I've been playing since 9th grade. I started writing songs about that time, and just been doing it ever since, So.
And so maybe I missed it, but did you take classes and go to school, or did you just practice on your own?
For music?
For music, yeah.
No, for music, I really I listened to pop rock, pop punk bands. So a lot of people kind of cringe at that, especially people who listen to more difficult music, I guess is what you'd call it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of. I guess it was easier for me though, because it's really easy to learn those songs. 3-chord power chords, or the 3-chord songs, or 4-chord pop songs. You can play and pretty much sing 50 different songs to those. Anyways, that's I just taught myself though. I would go online and do tabs and stuff, and then as time went on, I was able to I would learn different chords and stuff like that, and then I'd actually played saxophone, alto sax in 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade, so I knew a little bit about reading music, kind of. I really am not good at it, so if you gave me sheet music and you were like, all right, let's do this, I wouldn't it would take me days to get it down. But yeah, so no formal
no formal training.
No formal training.
Well, some people have an eye for music, and some people have an ear for it.
Yeah.
So you named a few, but what are all the instruments that you do play or can play?
Alto sax is, if you gave me one, I might be able to make a sound, and it may sound like a dying animal, so I wouldn't really consider that. But I can play a little bit of piano. I can play some guitar. I wouldn't call it playing bass, because there's bass players and there's people who can play bass. I'm not a bass player, so I know where different chords are on a bass, but I'm not a bass player.
So is that kind of like you can
play
formulaically do what you're supposed to do?
I can do what I'm supposed to do in order to be like, I can't play in the pocket. I can't do, that's not something that I'm super good at. So, yeah, I can't make a groove. Let's see. So yeah, guitar, piano. I don't know. I can play the harmonica. No, I can't. I don't know. I can make a noise.
So let's I want to talk about the band that you used to be in. That's pretty much why you're on here. Me and Rick listen to some of the music. It's good. I like it.
Thanks.
Yeah, very good.
So tell us about your band.
So the start of that was in high school. It was about after, I'd say 11th grade when I moved up here. I'd been playing guitar for 2 years at that point. And I saw all my heroes and whatnot playing. Switchfoot was one of them. A band called Relient K was another one. They're all pop punk or alternative rock bands. And I was like, man, I really want to start a band. It's gonna be really awesome. And I want to be playing in front of people and stuff, because
getting the chicks.
Exactly, being the center of attention and whatnot. So I decided to form a band in Washington. We were actually called the Bombadil Project. The name came from, it's really dumb. It came from the Lord of the Rings. I don't know if you've ever read that, but Tom Bombadil.
Tom Bombadil.
Yeah. Couldn't think of a name, and I was trying to be funny, because one of my favorite bands was Relient K, and they did a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff. So,
I imagine that name would be successful here in Washington. You definitely have a lot of book readers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we did book a lot of shows though, and they were like, "How do you pronounce this? Like, why is your name that? That's retarded." And we're like, I don't know. Especially after like 2 years in the band, we were just like, "This is ridiculous."
It's Lord of the Rings reference.
Exactly. So a lot of people thought we were Lord of the Rings cover bands. Like, all of our songs were going to be about like Middle Earth and.
Just tell them we're not Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it started there. Our guitarist ended up moving away because his dad was in the military also, and he went to Florida with him. But our drummer, he started the band. He was in our band when he was a senior in high school, and then he graduated, and obviously he decided he wanted to go to college. So he booked it he went to Tennessee, and then we kept the band together here for about a year, and then I just decided, nothing was really happening here necessarily. I mean, the biggest thing we got was we got played a show with MXPX over at Studio 7. That was probably that was our last show we played, and that was probably one of our biggest ones. But besides that, I mean, we weren't getting any record label stuff coming through. We weren't, came out with a CD called We Are Godzilla, You Are Tokyo. We probably sold like 2.5 copies. So I decided, I was like, I'm going to go to Tennessee where the drummer's at, and he's been talking about there's tons of musicians there, tons of opportunities to play over there, and just a lot of people for different types of music, not just a lot of people are like, oh, it's country music over there, but it's a super wide range of different musical opportunities. So I decided to drive over there, get my pack my 91 Honda Accord, full of stuff, even a drum kit, fit a drum kit in there, fit a 4x12 Mesa cab with a triple rectifier head, guitars, pedals. I stuffed, actually, my mom helped me. We took off the heads from the drums, and I stuffed all my clothes and belongings into the drums, and then put that in the car, and we drove 2,500 miles, 3,000 miles cross country over to Tennessee, and for the first about a month and a half, slept on people's couches, slept on my friends' couches there, until I was able to secure a housing for myself, and then formed a band over there. My parents said if I enrolled in school, they would pay for my rent, so I enrolled in the music business program over at Middle Tennessee State. And,
Immediately I'd take it.
Yeah, so yes, so I did that, and we started playing shows around the area, and then we changed our name from the Bombado Project. We came up with the Slowdown, which seemed a little bit more marketable and at the time more mature, I don't know, to us at least, so easier to pronounce.
Yeah.
So we did that, and we booked a couple shows, a couple good shows. I went into the studio about a year after I moved there, so that was in, that must have been around 2010. June of 2010, we went to the studio and recorded I want to say 7-song EP, is that right? I don't know. It was called Which Way Is Home EP, which was really fun. I think that was because the first time we went in the studio with the Bombado Project, it was with a great guy, actually. His name is Brandon Metcalf. He ended up moving to Nashville after I moved back here, but it was more along, we were really young, first time going in the studio, so it was really intimidating, because it was like similar to this studio, it's very, you walk in when you're like 17, 18, never been in a studio before, never played to a click track, anything. That's very intimidating. So the creative process wasn't really there at least for me. I kind of was just like, whatever Brandon said as the producer, I was like, okay, let's just do that, But this, in Nashville, with this guy that we record with, his name's Nick Curtis, the creative juices were, way more flowing. It also could have been the fact that we did have a 24 case of Coors Light with us as we were going, in a bottle of Jack Daniels occasionally. But that could have got the creative juices flowing. It was way more fun, though, as far as just, we pretty much just did whatever we want. If we liked it, we kept it. If we didn't, we got rid of it. So, played with that band, played a lot of shows. Again, it was kind of one of those things, excuse me, we'd work super hard, put 150% in, and get 0.5% back. So,
it's always hard to start out.
Yeah, no, it's true.
It's kind of
and
it's harder to keep it going.
Yeah, it's easy. Yeah, I think especially in Nashville with the amount of musicians, it's easy to start get people together and play. Yeah. It's really hard to keep motivation. Because usually what happens is there's motivation for one person, and
everybody's going to be a rock star overnight, and then when that doesn't happen, everybody starts losing interest.
Yeah, exactly. So that was one of the factors also. And then I actually came back to visit here over the summer, and I ended up meeting my wife now. So we we kept in contact when I went back to Tennessee, and we actually started dating long distance, and that was fine. And then it was spring of 2011, because it was right after I turned 21. I got diagnosed with a thing called ulcerative colitis. So I ended up in the hospital for about a week, and that sucked. So I ended up coming back for the summer because the doctors up here are better. My parents were like, you know, you should come up here. We got some doctors that we know and stuff. So I ended up coming back here, and then things weren't getting better as I'd hoped, like in my system. So I ended up just deciding to move back here.
So let's give credit where credit's due. Who were, or name some of the people who were working with you, or the band members?
Okay, on Which Way Is Home? Yeah.
On Which Way Is Home?
We had Jared Henderson was our guitar player, so he was electric guitars and some acoustic. And then my good friend Daniel Drake was our drummer, and he played drums and different percussion and stuff on there. And then Steven Reitzel was our bass player. Really good bass player, funk bass. And then I played keyboard and acoustic guitar and sang. So, yeah.
Did you do your own harmony on that too, Michael?
I did. Jared also did some background vocals, though I don't think any of the songs that I have posted right here on the interview has his backgrounds, not necessarily, but there's a couple songs on the EP that he does background. But the harmonies mostly, I did most of the harmonies, yeah.
And then on those particular 2 cuts we just heard, who was the engineer on those again?
That's Nick Curtis. He has a studio down in Franklin, Tennessee.
And its name is?
What is it? The Stew, actually. That's what it's called, yeah.
The Stew.
The Stew,
right.
yep.
Well, he did a very nice job for you guys.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good engineer.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. And then the third song we're going to play, Even If, you did that one here in Washington?
Yeah, it's a rough mix, and it's not completely done yet, but I figured I want to put some newer stuff in the interview. I recorded that up in Federal Way, actually about 8 months ago with a guy named Travis Graham, really good guy, and he has a little studio out there. So yeah, I played most of the instruments. The drums are programmed, but
yeah. So you've been around the world, you've been around America a little bit. They always say Washington is a very musically critical place, and it is hard to get ahead. I think you kind of even mentioned that, almost because of that reason, that everybody, every potential fan is some kind of expert.
Yeah.
What do you think, having played other places, like you even said it was easier to do in Tennessee?
Yeah.
Do you agree or disagree with that? You have some
the hardest thing about
that.
Washington, as far as the music scene goes, is not necessarily people being receptive to your music in general. It's getting people out to shows. People up in Washington don't want to go to shows, and that's, unless it's a big, someone big, like, I don't know, Lil Wayne or something, or like Lady Gaga. But these local shows, they're not really receptive to that necessarily. It's really, I remember working so hard, all of us in the band working so hard. We would, if someone was even interested at all in going to our show and we had tickets, we would drive, even if it was like a 30-minute drive. If they lived in Seattle, if they lived anywhere, we'd say, we will deliver this ticket to you so you come to our show. Because it really is, like, if you book a show, say at the Showbox, and you're not a known band, and they say, here's 100 tickets, you sell them. And I remember spending like $50 to $100 buying tickets out of my own money and then just handing them out to people. Because if you come back and you're like, well, I only sold 20 tickets out of the 100, all right, you guys aren't going to play here again. So.
Yeah, that's a sad situation and certainly a sign of the times.
We've
never used to be
that
like
before,
that. Yeah, we have. And matter of fact, I think it was when we had the Ole Boys here, we asked them a question about that. And it's largely due to being so many bands.
Yep. So, that's you asked the difference between Tennessee as far as Nashville. People are more willing to go to shows. So, you could write, I remember writing on the campus that we lived at. Maybe that's a big thing also. We lived on a campus, near a campus. You could write in the big town, like the square area, in chalk and say, this show at this time, and you'd get like 20 people. So, which is cool for like a club show,
Yeah.
So.
Earlier, you mentioned this too. You said there's people kind of cringe when you say pop. And that's funny because I actually have some questions specifically for that. Because there is like a stigma about pop music. You say pop, especially here in Washington, people are like, oh, okay, you're not good then. Or there's automatic assumption that
auto-tune.
Your music, yeah. And that it's going to be like music by the numbers, very formula. Well, what do you think? I've heard your music. It's definitely doesn't fit in that category. It's good music.
Thank you. Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you think modern there's a lack of talent in modern pop?
You know what? A lot of people. I feel like a lot of people just kind of say, well, pop music, and they just assume, oh, Lady Gaga's not talented. What they don't know is that Lady Gaga went to Juilliard, and she is classically trained on the piano. However, she's just a good businesswoman. She knows where the money's at, and that's how some people are. That's how a lot of these pop artists are. So saying they suck or they're not good musicians, I don't do that. Like I can't, because a lot of them are extremely good musicians, and they just know. They know where. I mean, if they want money and they want to do that, and they realize, okay, I can market myself, and I realize that there is this, this market for that. However, saying that, there are also pop artists that I think aren't very good, and at that, I don't call them musicians. I say you're an entertainer. That would be your Britney Spears, who isn't necessarily. She's even said herself, she's, I'm not a musician, I'm an entertainer, because she does, she dances around on stage, and people go to watch her dance, and look at her in her scantily clad clothing or whatnot. So.
Well, Lady Gaga is scantily clad.
That's true.
Speaking of that, I was thinking, I think I may have a newly tailored neat suit that would fit you.
Oh, perfect. I think
you might get a bigger draw that way.
You know what? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but even that goes to like what you're saying.
Bikini.
Yeah, like you're gonna wear a suit of living meat. People are gonna notice you.
No, exactly. And I think that's. Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's kind of how Marilyn Manson was.
Yeah.
Well, sure.
He was actually a smart person, musically talented,
mm-hmm.
but he knew if he went on stage wearing a woman's bodysuit and weird makeup,
having
he would become famous.
Or something.
It started years ago with Black Sabbath doing those sorts of things. Alice Cooper was certainly one of the first to come out there like that.
And Kiss, like the four Jewish guys from New York or wherever, and being like, hey, we're going to paint our faces, people are going to notice us.
Yeah, and they did.
Yep.
And I know they're considered, like, in metal circles, they're considered like the enemies of metal because they did that pop routine. They were good music, everyone likes the music, but they have a bad stigma too because they played the pop edge.
Yep. So that's, I think, there is definitely that negative, like a negative vibe.
It's kind of like
pop.
a stereotype.
Yeah, exactly. It's a stereotype's a stereotype, so.
Do you get a lot of it saying like, oh, I'm a pop band, or do people actually give you the time of day?
Yeah, I typically, I'll throw in like pop rock.
Yeah.
So, I'm not like, I'm a pop artist. Yeah, and I think the main thing, at least for me, is that I'm extremely attracted to melodies. I really, really enjoy Bruno Mars, who's a pop artist, and the guy's got amazing chops for melody. He's, a lot of his songs are really catchy. So I'm really, and that's kind of where I infuse the pop into my music. I try to come up with melodies that are like really catchy. My chords aren't necessarily the hardest, and my music's not. I mean, probably anybody that's has been playing for 6 months is able to play a lot of the songs that I'll write. But I like something that's pleasing, at least to my ear. I'm not, so I don't know. Yeah,
that was a good answer. So who do you like to listen to today? Like, who are some of your favorite modern artists?
As I said, Bruno Mars, I like it. It changes constantly. I'll go through phases where I'll be like, I'll only listen to this artist for like a long time. I'll keep playing their songs over and over, and then one day I don't know what it is. I'll just have a taste for some other artist, so I'll stop listening to that one completely and listen to this person's. So, but yeah, Bruno Mars pretty much stays up there. A guy named Ryan Tedder, he's the lead singer for One Republic, but he does a ton of production work. He's also another guy that has really good, melodies. He's penned the songs. That Bleeding Love by Leona Lewis. Keep bleeding, keep.
Oh, yeah.
That one, yeah. He wrote that song. He wrote that song Halo by Beyonce. I could see you, Halo.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So just a couple, different songs like that. But he's really cool. As far as bands, I like Switchfoot, and John Foreman, who's the lead singer of that band. And let's see, I don't know. I listen to a lot of pop punk too, or I guess pop. I don't know. All Time Low. He's like kind of a lot of high school girls and stuff like them. But I'm just like, I don't know. So I don't know. Yeah. I
don't know. When I was in high school, the pop punk bands were like Blink-182.
Actually, yeah, that's another band, Blink-182. I have a lot of them.
And there was another
Newfound
one. I can't
Glory
remember.
or something like
Newfound
that.
Glory,
Or Sum 41.
Sum 41, that's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
But I remember before that, pop punk was more like Offspring.
Yes, yeah.
And that's when I love Offspring, but
Offspring,
when
yeah.
Blink and them came around, it just turned me off.
Yeah.
But that's just my own taste. And
Yeah.
I don't think it means anything bad about somebody.
Yeah.
What kind of subjects do you like to write about?
I think a lot of them come from, at least for me, relationships. Yeah, that's what a lot of them are that I write about. I mean, the songs that we got there, like You Don't Understand, and failed relationships in the past. Now that I'm married, I don't really write about, failed relationships too much. I'll typically write about,
You succeeded.
Exactly.
You have no more.
A lot of times
Yeah,
it'll
no
be
more.
if there's a struggle and a struggle in my relationship with my wife or with a friend or anybody. So that a lot of times, Which Way Is Home is actually I kind of started writing that one about a relationship, but then my 4-year-old niece, because my sister and my 4-year-old niece got in a car crash in 2010, and my niece ended up passing away from that. And so it happened. It was literally the day we were going into the studio to record Which Way Is Home, that EP. And I found out, and I remember as the exact moment, because I remember as my phone had died the night before, and it happened that night. And so I turned my phone, and I have all these messages and stuff and whatnot. So I remember I still had the bridge, though, to write of that song, the bridge, and I remember I called my brother to see what was going on, and he told me and stuff, and I remember sinking to the floor because it sucked. Like, it still sucks, obviously. But I remember having to write that bridge, and I remember the entire time, like, as I was writing, because I couldn't think what to write. And then as the moment, like, I remember, like, it was 15 minutes after I had just found out, like, it came to me, like, what the bridge for that song. And I feel like my niece's name was Samantha, Sam. Like, she was there, like, writing with me, like, helping me write. So it helped me get through, like, that, being in the studio and writing that stuff. And that's where a lot of my writing comes from, though, is my life and the things that happen, happy, sad, angry, anything like that. So, yeah.
Both movies and music and art, I always say the best pieces are ones that have a soul, which for me means that there's something behind it.
Yeah.
But some things are just made for no reason. Other things are made for a reason. There's something behind it. Those are usually the best.
Yeah. I don't think I'll ever write any songs about going to the club. So.
Actually, that's what I was kind of going to ask next. Do you ever write anything a little more upbeat?
I always try to. Like, I'll go to the piano or I guess the problem is writing on piano it always turns into a slow ballad for me. I've tried writing, like, really fast. Yeah, exactly.
Try playing it on a synthesizer, the lighter
See,
keys,
there you go.
maybe.
Yeah, there you go. That's a faster tempo. I can play faster. So, yeah, I'll try writing faster songs, but typically it always turns into a slower, like, rock ballad or whatever,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, you kind of gave us the creative process when writing music.
Mm-hmm.
Is that different when you were actually writing music with the bands?
Typically not. It probably wasn't very fun being in a band with me in hindsight, looking back, because a lot of times I would write the entire thing, and then a lot of times I would write the whole thing, and then I would go to the bandmates, and they'd give me their input and stuff, and we'd work it out that way, which was fine. But I just recently, especially with the Even If song, I wrote that, actually, Travis Graham and I wrote it together, and that was super fun, but I had never been open to it before, because a lot of the bands that I did listen to, like, their lead singer would write all the stuff themselves, so I was stuck in that, like, oh, I want to do it all myself, like, I don't want anybody's help. But it's like, they always say, like, surround yourself with great people, great things are going to happen. And that's true, I believe, with songwriting.
Sure there is. Yeah, that's true.
And so you get really good songwriters around you when you're writing a song. A really good song's going to come out.
Yeah, if you're receptive.
If you're receptive, exactly. If you're willing to listen to those ideas and try them out at least, and that's kind of what I wasn't doing in a band, and so now I've been doing that as a solo artist, and it's been really fun. But yeah, typically it would just be me writing the songs in the band, and then they would come typically with just instrumental ideas. So
Don't you feel it's a lot easier to be receptive when it's just yourself?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Mike, how do you like that? I really like that idea. That's super good. Oh, thanks.
It's unanimous.
Exactly. Let's vote on it. Yeah.
So now that you have like a kind of a career job and a family life, do you get a lot of time for music anymore? Or does it have to take
I don't.
a
Yeah,
backseat?
I don't get a lot of time for as I used to. However, I don't regret it at all. I have a. How old is she now? She's almost 7 months. That's crazy. She's super small. I have a almost 7 months, 6.5 month old baby girl. And then I also, when I got married, I have two other kids also. I have a son that's 5 and then a daughter that's 7. So a lot of responsibility there, and it's really fun though. It's worth it. I mean, family life is awesome, and I really like being a dad. So music is kind of, as far as playing out and playing shows and stuff, yeah, it's taking a back seat because I just don't have time, nor or the resources necessarily to do it. But I still definitely have the songwriting outlet, and I'm still I'll finish recording this album. I'll probably just put it on iTunes and let people know and be like, hey, if you want to, if you're interested. I may even screw iTunes and just give it out for free because I don't care. Really, it's at this point, it's really just my release from the stresses of the day. I don't have anything else, to do it. So to get rid of stress, so that's kind of.
So you're probably definitely in the mindset of just you want to make good music and
Yeah.
put it out.
Yeah, and I'm not looking to
That's
sign a record deal or.
Yeah. That's how a lot of our interviewees have been. They definitely would sign a record deal if it came up to them.
If someone was like, hey, we'll offer you this much money to sign, I'd be like, oh well, okay, well let me first also own my soul then, I guess.
And getting that record deal would be a lot easier if you were back down in Nashville, up in New York, or down in L.A.
Exactly.
And who needs to sell their soul, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long have you been married now?
August 14th, 2011 was the day, so I'm not good at math, so however long that is.
Long enough you got Christmas gifts this last go-round.
Exactly, and Father's Day, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
I got that first taste of the Father's Day gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Are you gonna pass the musical torch on to anybody, or?
I hope so. My 5-year-old son he's super rhythmic. He's not necessarily he likes singing a lot. He's not necessarily the best at singing, but again, he's 5 years old. You never know. But he's super. I could totally see him being like a DJ or something, or a drummer. So I hope so. I'm never gonna be one to push it. My parents didn't push anything on me. If I wanted to do something, they would support me to do it. At the same time, I really like the way they did it because they would support me, but they wouldn't throw money at me and be like, here's all this money. They'd make me work for it. I would work for it, and that was definitely a really good lesson, and I think it taught me hard work, which is really good.
You appreciate things a lot more if you have to pay for it.
Like
you learn how to take care of it.
Yeah, my first guitar, I still have it. It's still in brand new condition. It's I bought an Epiphone Masterbuilt guitar, $599. I remember they helped me out a little bit, but I saved almost all the money from my job working at Target in high school. And it was close to my birthday, and they put the extra, I think it was like $120 towards it for my birthday present. But that guitar, I took it all over the place, played it in Nashville, everywhere. I still have it, so yeah.
Right.
That's great.
Talking about your parents, I thought it was funny earlier when you kind of said your dad was trying to kind of get you into music, but you were more into sports.
Yeah.
It's funny because that's like the opposite of what you hear.
Yeah.
Usually it's the other way around.
But then he went ahead and said that it was soccer, and that
Exactly. That's more of an acting. That's more acting than anything.
it just kind of got accepted as a sport here in the United States.
Exactly. Just within the past year or so. I think it's once Seattle got the team, then a lot of people in Washington are like, yes.
Yes, it is a sport.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Probably didn't hurt that Xbox supports or is a sponsor
the Xbox,
for our
Xbox 360
soccer team.
Yep. That's true.
So, are your folks, are they living out here now? Or?
Yeah, they live over in Tacoma. And my dad actually is, he just retired in August from the military after 25 years. So
he up at Fort Lewis?
Yeah, they're about, it's a place called Spanaway.
Yeah.
So they live out there, and I don't know, they talk about eventually selling. Obviously, the market's pretty terrible, but so they're still at the house. They bought the house when we moved up here. So yeah, that's where they're at though. Mm-hmm.
Now, your mom helped pack you up when you were going to Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
When you were going to get married, did she help pack you up again?
No, actually, I ended up having to get rid of a lot of stuff and selling it real quick. I sold my '91 Honda Accord to Dan for $400. That was our drummer. Anything else? I remember I had saved up some cash and I UPS'd the rest of it. I UPS'd my musical instruments. I sold off the Mesa cab that I had and the Mesa triple rectifier, and I took the cash, came back here and bought an AC30. And
AC30, that's
the Vox.
Yeah, the little Vox amp. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are good little amps.
Yeah.
So I thought it was an airplane. Just kidding.
Oh yeah, exactly. I bought an airplane. Yeah. So a lot of stuff. Yeah, the big stuff. I remember I had bought a bed down there too, and I just sold all of it dirt cheap. Just trying to. I remember flying down there, and the original plan was to have a week to move, but then my wife was like, "I want you back here," so I was like, "Okay, 3 days." So I went down there and I packed as fast as I could, and my friends helped me pack, and we sold off the things as quick as we could to different people, and yeah, it worked out though. I mean, I came back with a lot less than I moved there with, so. But I never regret it. I'm like, I wish I had that, So it's material things, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Do you keep in touch with your old bandmates?
Through Facebook. I mean, I don't. With the amount of time that I have, because right now I work about 30 to 35 hours at Costco.
Yeah.
So and I go to school on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 in the morning until 3:30. So any other time I spend with my family, so I don't have any time to make phone calls or
Mm-hmm.
I'll occasionally text them if I think of a funny joke or something like that.
Yeah. Or what about Facebook?
Yeah, and Facebook we keep in touch.
So what are you taking in school?
I'm taking right now. I mean, I'm majoring in marketing. It's just a business administration degree, but it's the focus is in marketing. And right now I'm taking an advertising class, consumer marketing, which is just I like to also call it the lying class. And then what's the other one? I can't remember. Oh yeah, quantitative methods. So
you don't go to hell for lying if it's for business.
There you go. Exactly.
There's an exception.
Yeah.
Yes. It is a good one.
So would you like to give out any advice or information to potential kids trying to make it in the music or form a band?
Main advice is just work your butt off. Nothing's going to come to you. For the people that think, oh, if I start a band and make good music, then someone will find me. You have to do that, but you also have to work yourself to, I'm not trying to discourage anybody because that's not,
Right, yeah.
But just work, nothing's going to come to you. Nothing's going to walk up to your door. Occasionally it will, if you put stuff on YouTube, but that's, 0.1% of the time. Everybody else, you got to market yourself. You got to work yourself. You have to have the songs, the good songs, good stuff, and you also have to be able to market yourself and show people like, I deserve this. I deserve to be here, and I deserve recognition and people to know me, and So I guess that's my advice to them is, and if you really want it and you are a very hard worker and you're, your songs, you're talented, then it'll work. You just it may take years, but you just keep at it and you keep pushing strong and you keep that hard work ethic and you don't ever let up. Then you can do it.
Michael, it seems to me like success has to deal with how much money you make or how much money you have.
Yeah.
Don't you think that to be a successful musician, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with money?
No, I don't. I really don't. I think it has to do with... honestly, success for me at least, I think I'm successful. A successful musician because I play the songs that I enjoy. When I do show it to people, the majority of them don't, slap me across the face and say, like, how dare it, like, my ears are bleeding now. A majority say, like, that sounds, I can appreciate, even if they don't like the music, like because they don't have to like the art form or, like, the type of music necessarily, but they can appreciate that a lot of times, they'll be like, that sounds good, or, So I think that's successful if you can do that. I think if you I always said if one person listened to a song of mine and said, that made me have a better day, that's success right there.
Sure.
And I don't think it is monetary. I think if you can get your message across to just one person, and make them, if your art helps somebody, or even if it just helps you, and you are able to write your music instead of hurting yourself or doing something else not productive, I think that's a success.
Well, there's a lot of people that are musicians that have never recorded anything. They'll talk about it.
Yeah.
They'll be talking about it till the day they die.
Yeah.
So the reality of it is just getting into the studio, putting in the time in the studio, and going through the paces there in order to have a song, a finished song, something that you can play for everybody.
Yeah.
That in and of itself is success.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
That's a very prolific angle we just played there, because when we say success, usually drums up money.
Yeah.
We think you have to make money to be successful. That's monetary success, but I like how you put that. If you just make a song and a few people hear it, or one person hears it, you're a successful musician. That's
Sure.
true.
People say, what do you do? And immediately our response is, I work for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That which will not be named.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which isn't necessarily, that's only what you do for a very, for 1/3 of your life. Who
how
are
you make
you
a
and what
living.
do you do for the other 2/3? We always put that 2/3 aside, and everything is based on, a monetary value, which particularly in arts, whether it has to do with being a talented artist, with a pen or pencil or paintbrushes or photography, or in a musician, success certainly lies outside of that norm.
Yeah. I agree.
We just don't teach that. That's why people get stuck in the mind frame
Yeah.
of how they make money as their success. So if they're not making money, they're not a successful artist. That's just not true.
Yeah, I think that does, and that definitely plays a role in the reason a lot of musicians do quit making music, or they quit. A lot of them do. There's a ton of bands that were just like, well, we quit. It wasn't working out. We weren't making enough, to support ourselves, so we decided to stop. And it's sad because I've seen great bands that I just. I remember one of them. I don't think they won't listen to this anyways, but I don't think they'd get offended. But a band called Brightwood from Oregon, fantastic band. The music they made was amazing, but they never got the monetary success as we call it. They toured the U.S. and stuff, and they made fantastic music, but they eventually just ended up calling it quits because it wasn't taking off the way that they had hoped. I think so. But so I think that definitely affects a lot of people, because that is, as you were saying, that mindset that they get into and are just taught from an early age, monetary success. So.
And the fact that we do have to work to make a living doesn't help.
That's true. In order to afford things.
Yeah, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
So how can people hear your music?
It's on Facebook. If you just type in the Slowdown, it's still under that name. You can just, I don't know if the actual URL is facebook.com/ I think it's the Slowdown Rock is what it is, because music was taken, so we decided to put that on there.
I looked it up. I believe one is MySpace, I think, is the Slowdown Rock.
Oh, okay.
And Facebook was actually the Slowdown.
Okay, so yeah, Facebook.
But there'll be hyperlinks.
Yeah, so, and you can also, if you have a Facebook, you can just type that into the search bar and it should come up. And then, that's where our music's at. So we have a Twitter account. I have a Twitter, but you can't listen to music on that really. So.
Well, that goes into how people can contact you.
Yeah, they can contact me through that. So yeah.
Do you have your EP available from?
We don't have it on iTunes, but if anybody ever emailed me through Facebook and was interested in getting songs, I'll send it to them for free. I'm not looking to make any money or anything off of it necessarily. So, yeah, if anybody listens to this and is interested in songs, email me or contact me through Facebook and the Slowdown one. And I pretty much check it, I think, every day because it's through my personal one. So I'll get you songs. So.
Okay, that was a little Q&A with Michael George. We're going to leave you with the song Even If.
You say it's hard to give away your heart. You say it's hard to be apart from the one that truly loves you. You know I've loved you from the start. I know it's hard to be apart. Even if these words we say I feel, I'm holding on to memories of you, holding on to everything we have, 'cause I know that our love will always last. Even if these words are not enough, just know that I will always be in love with you till the day that I die. And even after that, baby, I will love you. Even after that, baby, I will love you. I know it's been way too long since I've been home, but please be strong, 'cause I'm the one that truly loves you. You know I've loved you from the start, 'cause you're the one that holds my heart. Even if these words we say are few, I'm holding on to memories of you, holding on to everything we have, 'cause I know that our love will always last. Even if these words are not enough, just know that I will always be in love with you till the day that I die. And even after that, baby, I will love you. Baby, don't worry, 'cause distance doesn't mean a thing. They say we're crazy, but we don't care what they think. Baby, don't worry, 'cause distance doesn't mean a thing. They say we're crazy, but I'd be going crazy without you. Even if these words we say are few, I'm holding on to memories of you, holding on to everything we have, 'cause I know that our love will always last. Even if these words are not enough, just know that I will always be in love with you till the day that I die. And even after that, baby, I will love you. Even after that, baby, I will love you.
That music means it's calendar of events time. February 8th through the 10th, the Coach House at the State Capitol Museum is hosting The Creative Edge, an Olympia Spring Art Show and Sale. Show is at 6 to 9 p.m. Friday and 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. Call 360-264-4474 for details. On February 15th at the Grove Street Brew House on 1st and Grove Street in Shelton, there's the Turning Point's Brew House Bash, a musical performance and silent auction to benefit Turning Point's domestic violence services. Event is 5 to 8 p.m. On February 10th, the Elk Lodge in 1818 4th Avenue in Olympia, they're having the Dixieland Dance featuring the Hume Street Band. Event is 1 to 4:30 p.m. Admission is 10 for members, 14 for others. Call 360-943-9123 for details. And that's all the events for this week.
This is Rick Nichols
And Matthew Warnick.
with OPS, wishing all of you a great week. We look forward to you joining us next week when our guest will be
the soulful stylings of Seattle-based singer-songwriter C.T. Thompson.
So until then, goodbye for now.
We'd love to hear from you, so contact us at olympicpeninsulaspotlight@gmail.com.